Welcome to Tales of Tendra, starring Christopher James Ouellette as Tobias Silas, Quinton Foote as Osirion, Kirsten Gray as Raina, Alex Madarasz as Roman, Leon Heiman as Callio, Maddy Stalnik as Ella, and myself, Deven Hayes-Richards, as your story gremlin. With sounds from Epidemic Sounds and Tabletop Audio. Don't forget to rate and subscribe, it helps us out a lot. Thank you. Welcome back to another episode of Tales of Tendra. My name's Deven, I'm your story goblin, and joined today, as always, with Christopher James Ouellette playing.
Obviously playing Tobias Silas.
And Leon Heiman playing.
Nah, I'm still just Callio.
And Markus Mather playing.
As Cruz.
Kirsten Gray.
As Raina.
Alex Madarasz.
As probably Roman.
Hey.
Maybe.
And last but certainly not least, Maddy as
Only in your dreams, Ella Dyra.
Oh.
was
Dang.
presumptuous.
It's provocative. Gets the people going.
Last time, you guys had a bit of a sneak peek into what each other's lives were outside of what
Bad.
they are now. Then mostly it's bad, yeah. At this time, we join you as Cruz arrives first, as he was not too far away from the camp. Cruz, you know exactly where your father's office is if you want to make your way there or to the mess hall. You know the lay of the land here. What would you do?
I would go. I think I would just go to the mess hall. I think Cruz would be pretty hungry.
Well, you arrive to the mess hall, and much like your camp goers know, there's all the food you could ask for. You don't need to wait for it. You can just go grab yourself a plate and stand in line. Well, you do that. You're there for like 3 days. Is there anything you'd like to do in those 3 days?
I'd probably just go for good old strolls, do some
Right.
training.
You take a couple walks out to where you know that Nyle will be buried. You and Nyle were pretty close over the last 15 years. You went with him on most of his non-stealth required missions, and
Yeah.
you were off in the muscle if he got cornered somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going through Cruz's mind right now? How is he feeling?
I think he'd be very sad over the last few years, and feels like he is missing a part of him, and just keeps thinking of all the memories they had together.
As you walk over to the tree, do you put your hand on it or anything?
Yeah, I would put my hand on it.
As you do that, once you touch the tree, you feel a bit more connected to Nyle. Like on the other side of that tree, he's putting his hand against the bark too.
Mm-hmm. I think I would do that every day, touch the tree, go for walks.
Okay. We'll cut over to the 3 guys spooning in their carriage.
We're conserving warmth.
Hey, now, we might have enough room to sleep, but there's no space heater on board. We do what we have to, okay?
It's not our fault that he decided to pass in the winters.
It's you're about 3-ish hours away from.
The shoeless rider stays outside though.
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
guy.
I mean, you gotta
That
wear
guy's
socks.
hardy.
He's hard. He's got hardy
socks.
toes.
He's got socks. He just doesn't have shoes.
Just no shoes.
He's
Just
got like 7 pairs of socks on.
raw socking it.
Are they at least like fuzzy socks, you know, so his feetsies are warm?
The inside is like very floofy. Looks like he killed several rabbits for them.
Those are good socks. One might argue even like leather boots.
Yeah, but he calls them socks because he made them. He goes, "No, these are my socks."
You know what? Fair enough. Who am I to judge?
And anytime you try to tell them they're boots, he gives you the most uncomfortable stare directly in your eyes and goes, "Boots are not mine. These are socks."
Callio, let the man have his socks.
Is this like, do we have the same driver every time?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's a permanent employee.
He's a permanent employee.
He's got a pension.
He's got a pension. Do I have a pension?
No.
Everybody got a pension.
Why am I here now?
They've unionized. You're paying a union and everything.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
You guys are making your way. It isn't snowing. It can be winter if you guys want. I don't actually. The weather season doesn't matter right now. You guys start to feel. I don't know. Your year in the camp wasn't necessarily fun and great, but as you're getting closer, what feelings are coming to you as you start to recognize the trees and the road?
A not small amount of trauma and some good memories, bonding with friends and one friend lost.
What about you, Tobias?
Similar sentiments as Callio. Some good memories here and there. Probably, and I think, not to speak for the other boys as well at this point, but probably a bit of apprehension as to what's next. We were all sort of, whether by choice or not, linked. And now one of those links is broken. So probably
As
a little pensive.
As you think about the fact that one of those links is broken, I would like if you could roll me an Arcana check.
Oh, but I'm a rogue.
Yeah, you should have a good intelligence.
But I'm a rogue.
No.
Let's see
Intelligence
how.
is so important for rogues.
My intelligence is very important. I may not ever learn how to do even the most basic cantrips, but for the first roll being a natural 20 for a total of 23,
That's
I'll take
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I'll
let's
take
go.
Osiris flashes in my mind.
Good vibes.
You think back to the last couple weeks, couple months,
Hmm.
and you recall a small stabbing pain where the rock in your hand is, and then a radiating pain that kind of like radiated out into your forearm and then disappeared, all in like the span of like 30 seconds. And it kind of felt like someone was trying to rip the rock out of your hand. And that's what you'll get for that. It'll come in handy eventually, I promise.
I
as long as you write it
mean,
down.
yeah. I at some point, especially if this happened over the last couple weeks, I think I would have maybe not associated it to Nyle or anything in particular, but I would have definitely told Roman and Callio of like, hey, did you guys feel anything? Like,
If he did end up pointing it out to you, you did feel a similar thing at the exact time he mentions.
I tell him it's arthritis.
That is plausible, honestly.
We're middle aged now. It's pretty.
It's all
Carpal
that
tunnel.
lock picking, you know? It's really bad.
It's really bad for your finger dexterity, okay?
He obviously wasn't stretching before and after.
Yeah.
Right, you've watched me pick locks. I know it's not arthritis.
You gotta like floss your fingers before you do it.
You watch me. You actually told me to do it. Sorry.
You guys reminisce on this argument. You pull up to the gate. Franklin hops off the driver's seat and pulls your door open. He goes, "Right, when do I come back?"
We honestly may as well just park it, Franklin. Do you prefer Frankie?
I feel like you ask him that every time. I don't think the answer is going to change, much like my inquiry about his socks.
I prefer Frank.
Frank, okay.
My friends call me Frank the Tank. Because I
Frank
drink a lot.
the Tank. Noted. Yeah, just, hang out. They got magic food here. You ever seen magic food, Frank? It's gonna blow your mind.
Depends. Is telling my wife that her food's magical every night, does that count?
Is it a lie or is it actually
it's
magical?
definitely a fucking lie. It's bitter as hell.
It's the same. It's like that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put a boot on the old wagon here so no one can take it. And he pulls a really, really big leather boot off the top of the wagon and sticks it in the wagon wheel.
Frank,
and then,
that's why I made you a union employee.
And then nails a nail through the neck of the boot into the ground like a tent post. And he goes, "Hell yeah, ain't nobody taking that nowhere. You got beer in this bitch?"
I'm sure they do.
Probably got beer in this bitch.
Roman, remember when we talked about you get what you pay for?
This is the highest quality
Right.
I could afford.
Now we're
There
on
it is.
track.
As we're like walking away, I'll be like, "Yeah, Roman, at the time, we can always rehire. It's never too late."
We are
You
paying
hear it
him
in the
10
background.
coppers a
Actually,
day.
it's in the contract.
He's got a contract, man.
Why does he have a contract?
Because
We
I'm a
talked about-
wise businessman.
We talked about you giving out contracts again, Roman. You've got to stop.
That's why we have a whole
somebody
union.
else read them beforehand.
We'll talk about it at the next AGM.
Cruz,
It was
you
a
are
carriage full of
walking
himbos.
by the front gate with an apple in hand as you witness whatever the fuck that was.
Business.
And the three of you see this absolute fucking mountain of a man that reminds you of Rupert, but is definitely not Rupert.
That is a big motherfucker. Hey, excuse me, are you a new teacher here?
No.
Looking for
I'm
a
not.
job?
No, I'm okay.
What are you?
What?
You're just
Did
Staring.
you know Nyle?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm a student here.
you're a what?
Still?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Are
a
you-
big student.
Is he?
Yeah.
Are you like Nyle? Like he was?
Would I?
Well, you are not technically like Nile. You are there because of what you are, and that your father is there to make sure you don't do nothing stupid.
Okay. So yes.
Yeah, I guess yes is a fine answer.
Okay. Yes, I am like Nile, but a little different, I guess.
That's a big
as
puppet.
as he as he says that, as you guys know, the glamours here are not always perfect, and you see a bit of a ripple, and his hands are clawed and his a little under the glamour. He's a little fluffier than you'd expect.
Hmm.
All right, well, it's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. My name is Callio, and I'll reach in for a very fortuitous, I hope, handshake.
I will shake your hand, but it'd be like a very tight.
I'm gonna go on your other hand and shake it over top of hand, so we're doing the cross hand. My name is Roman.
Nice to meet you guys.
Well, nice to meet you as well. Sorry it has to be under such sour circumstance.
Yep.
So you guys have about 4 days, the 4 of you, if you would like to stage some conversations to get to know each other a little bit. When you do first get there, Rupert does finally make his way out of his office. Cruz, you would have known that like your dad's he was pretty torn up about what happened, much like yourself. He felt very responsible for Nyle. Also similar to Cruz, is like 7'5", looks very similar. He, as you guys know, he was a big guy before. He seemingly has kept growing since you last saw him, even though he's an adult. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But also, you don't know enough about spirits to ask these questions.
Yeah.
Rupert pats Cruz on the back and he goes, I am glad you could make it. I am very sorry that you all lost a friend, and I hope we can figure out what happened.
Is he talking to me?
He's talking to all of you. You're all like together. Tater tot, this is not the time.
Not to be that sort of individual, but there's a body around.
Pardon me?
Is the body around? I'd like to take a look at it.
Yes. I wasn't sure if you wanted to see it or not. It is jarring.
Might give us some insight as to what the hell's wrong.
So he gestures for you to follow him. And as you do, we will cut to Raina and Maddy. This is about on day 4 that you guys have this conversation anyway. You guys are an hour maybe from the camp, recognizing the trees and the places you would walk as for your missions and your training. What kind of feelings are coming up for you guys?
I hate to do this to you, DM, but it is important of what season it is. Because some of us are cold-blooded and don't do well in the winter.
One of you may or may not be on the verge of getting real cold.
Okay.
So it's
That
autumn.
season is coming.
Jeez. Raina makes sure that there's extra warm clothes packed.
Yeah,
For
Raina's
Ella.
used to this. Ella starts slowing down, gets a little grouchier. It's like, it's that time of the year.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, okay.
Next time
Here's the
she's gonna
sunny
molt.
spot. We don't talk about that.
Very deeply personal experience, okay?
Kidding. Raina, you go first.
Okay. Raina feels the first start of the journey back to the camp was, excitement to be out and away from the island, from the village. They don't often get out very much, Ella and Raina, for obvious reasons. But anytime that they do, it's always, an air of excitement and freedom in a way. But as we get closer to the camp, again, those feelings of guilt and regret creep in as Nyle his right to do so, refused to join Ella and Raina to their little village, and a little bit of hope to see old friends again as well. A little bit of, it's bittersweet. She's sad that this is the reason why they have to return, but again, a chance to get out and into the world is always a sense of excitement. How much time, like, in the 15 years, how often did the teachers come out to them? Did they at all, or?
The teachers came out weekly for the first 10 years.
Okay.
So, like, to you, I mean, you knew because Thane teleported you guys home. So they basically went from you and Maddy to wherever Tobias was, to Leon and to Callio and Roman. Had a couple days off, maybe. Back at the camp that they had to teach, and then same thing.
Okay.
You guys. Ella, how about you?
Ella is not excited to be back. Her arrival at the camp the first time was unwanted, so being back brings back some of those homesick feelings, as well as fear that this friend who knew where they were going, is there other friends, is this a trap? She's kind of spiraling in that anxious thought, though there is some relief in that, knowing Raina's gonna be there, and the other friends who she cares for will also be there, so it's not so overwhelming.
That makes sense. A little time passes. You guys get to the gate. You kind of see Rupert ushering another tall person and another 3 boys that could be familiar. You're not quite sure. What would you guys like to do?
Well, do we just want to head on in and try to find... Well, there's Rupert. We can talk to him.
Ella nods.
Perfect. Yeah! Just ushers the horse on a little quicker into a trot. And passing through, I guess, the ward, I realized I didn't really explain what Raina looks like after 15 years. Sorry.
Swole.
Yeah, she's taller, obviously, stronger. She, her long pigtails have been chopped into more of like a shaggy Princess Diana kind of haircut, and passing through the glamour ward, whatever you want to call it, her brown hair shifts to a slight green, just a little bit, and then some texture on her skin that creeps through before it settles and keeps her usual appearance and form.
Ella is wearing the glamour necklace to remain glamoured, even through the ward.
Right. I remember the things I give people.
Yes, I don't.
He only changes
so I'm glad
her
someone
hair
does.
longer. Otherwise, just tiny, long hair. Very stoic.
Speaking of, as you guys are approaching, would you guys like to describe to us what you have look like 15 years later? Starting with Leon.
Oops.
You're muted.
Ah, damn it. That was such a good description, too. No.
I can feel it in my bones.
That's good. Callio has aged into his blonde hair. He's shorn it quite short, to sort of a military buzz style. His features have sort of squared out, and he looks very much like a teen pop star, or like Justin Bieber. You know, he Justin Bieber did.
Baby,
Looked like a baby. Now it's just kind of a generally attractive person. He's got a couple tattoos, mostly around his neck and on his hands. He wears ostentatious finery, brightly colored clothes, and he's still very much just a prankster youth at heart.
And Roman?
Look like a pale human with my slicked back black hair with a big white streak going through it. I've got fancy adjacent clothes, like kind of like those influencers that want to look like they can afford Gucci, but they can't afford Gucci. So like they buy knockoff Gucci. That's what I'm rocking, is like the knockoff Gucci stuff. With like a couple of real, like kind of cheaper gold embroidered pieces and like little flashy bits to make it look like I have money, but I don't really have that much money. Got some fancy, like a fancy sword and stuff, but it's all an illusion. And grew a mustache.
Oh,
yeah,
regal.
Very suave.
All right, Tobias, what do we see?
Yeah, easy enough. As mentioned earlier, sort of tattered black leathers, kind of shoddy happenstance put together. He's grown to his full whopping height of 5'8". More of a lithe character, quick on his feet. His red hair from when he was younger has definitely gingered out quite a bit, and is now sort of shoulder length back with an undercut on the sides and the back as well. He has a shattered half raven mask that's permanently covering one side of his face. Roman and Callio would know this due to an accident that occurred at one point. And an adornment as well with a short sword and several darts that I have on my person. I also have a massive kit of salves and poultices and various tinctures and bottles that I've made use for trying to patch people up.
Wonderful.
But it's definitely leather bound tight and designed for practicality and function, as well as staying quiet. So.
Okay. You guys hear a horse hooves trotting quite quickly up to you, and you turn around and you see the ever the same Ella and matured Raina, who surprisingly isn't that much taller than you, Tobias, considering how much bigger she was than you were a child.
I'll take my wins where I can get them, yes.
Oh my goodness, hello Raina. Fantastic to see you.
Is that Callio?
Who else could it be? I mean, come on, who wears clothes this nice?
Oh, it's so great to see you again. Fabulous as always.
Well, thank you very much. Sorry it's under such dire circumstances, but
yes,
such is life, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And Roman and Tobias.
Greetings.
Hello.
Flesh, as it were. How did you two fare? Pleasure in seeing you both again, Raina, Ella.
It's a long journey, but we are here.
Long journey.
Oh, there's also a Lynx.
And there's a Lynx, yes. This is Artemis.
She sniffs you all a little too aggressively. It's like,
All right.
She is a big sweetie
Ella
when you get to know her.
gathers her skirts and like kind of slumps off the horse ungracefully because it's way too tall because it's Raina size.
Oh wow! I'll give you a hand.
Oh. As you said, oh, Ella, you should have waited.
Barefoot as always.
she just slaps into the ground with her bare feet.
Just nice into that cold mud. Slip.
Mm.
Cold expression as always. She looks to the three of you and then does a formal bow.
A formal bow back.
Yeah.
Raina definitely hugs everyone and like big squeeze.
Yeah.
Your
Callio
back
will
cracks.
use minor illusion. Callio definitely uses minor illusion to make the sound of like actual bones snapping. Can you do that?
Oh wait, do I believe that? Hold on. For a second, she's like, "Oh, Callio, jeez,
I mean, come on,
Louise.
you can't keep falling for that. I do it every time.
I know. One day I will learn. One day."
It's good to see friendly faces. It's been a rough couple weeks.
Yes. Rupert, pleasure to see you again.
I also wish we could have reconvened under better circumstances. He pats the other rather tall person on the back and goes, this is my son. Introduce yourself."
Hi, I'm Cruz. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Ella cranes her neck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll kind of just like look down.
Everybody's got neck pain.
Yeah. Damn, you're tall.
Yeah. As you can see, I get it from my old man.
Ah, yes. That I see the
Birth
resemblance
defect.
now. Birth defect. Sure.
You think we're big, you should see the wife.
Oh,
I would
Mom.
actually love to
Woof.
see that.
Oh,
Mom's a
don't
bit too
tempt
big.
us with a good time.
He opens the door to his office, and there is a small coffin over to one side, about the same size as the puppet that you remember seeing as kids. There is also a family portrait above his desk on the wall, and he and Cruz are much smaller than the mother. The mother is like a whole head above Cruz. Like, we're just bombshell, like Liv Tyler mid-90s going on.
But also 8'6".
Yeah, but also 8'6". So she's
All
also
leg.
like 3 foot wide, and
Jeez.
looks like she could bench press all of you at once.
Raina all of a sudden feels very self-conscious.
Shit. What was I saying? They the coffin is closed. And he
Come on, we're here for a
gestures.
somber event. Get it together.
He gestures and he says, I will leave you here with this. You guys take your time. Do what you must. And he leaves and closes the door. Both he and Cruz had to like duck under the doorway. Clearly the office was not always Rupert's. He closes the door and walks away. You hear his feet trod off the wooden porch and onto the mud. You guys have the floor.
Unceremoniously, like, beelines it for the casket and pops the lid.
I know this is terrible, but I am picturing, like, because she has like the one horn in the middle of her head. I am picturing the camera just like straight, and then the little horn only thing seen go by.
Yes.
And then you just see the casket open, and she realizes, I can't see anyway.
Just gotta tiptoe a little bit to.
Yeah.
Is there a stool in here I can grab?
Yeah,
There
Raina
is.
finds
There's
like a
a
box
stool.
or a stool.
Yeah. She,
Um,
she does a visual inspection first of Nyle.
So, last time we saw Nyle get hurt, when you found him afterwards, he was just a puppet. This time, while he does still look like a puppet, this puppet, rather than being blank, looks eerily like a wooden version but the exact same boy you guys saw on your last day here. Cruz, you would know that the type of spirit he is does not age. They are stuck the way they were created, in a sense, until they move back to the spirit plane. I'm sure over 15 years you guys have at least looked up something about each spirit, so you all will know that. But yeah, like I said, the first time you saw him, he was a blank puppet with a bit of a hole. This time it is Nyle in his green tunic. The hair is not like hair, it's like painted on. But he's got little glasses. He is very small, as he always has been, and I think, Tobias, you would notice immediately the jewel or the rock that was in his hand is gone. And Cruz, you would notice that too, because he couldn't really hide it. There was a rock in his hand, but it is most definitely no longer there.
Medicine
guys on the
check
floor.
wouldn't work on a wooden puppet, would it?
That's
To-
what I'm gonna try.
Determine cause of death.
How about woodcarver's tools?
The only way this is definitely at best an Arcana check.
Okay. I'll
Maybe
do
a
an Arcana.
religion check, but
Oh, I'd prefer religion.
unfortunately I don't think a medicine check would give you any information. Can you tell me something else you could investigation might, though.
Okay, yeah, we're
So
gonna
you can roll me-
investigate the wooden corpse. If anyone wants to help.
I mean, the whole intent of going forward with was to determine cause of death. Yeah, so I'll assist Ella.
Wait, what?
I mean, she already ran over the casket.
What's your modifier for the investigation?
Totally not +5.
All right, I'm helping you.
Good with that, DM?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the help. Oh, for the love of God. So I think Ella would help pointing out a lot more, as I got a 17 total.
Oh, nice. So while the finish, well, I'll say which is such a weird thing to say out loud, of the puppet, while you would expect it to be like a clear coat, it is kind of burned and melty. Like you can like tell that he was hit in certain areas and some magic was used, and you take a closer look at his hand where the stone was. With a 17, you can tell someone tried to refinish that area to cover up whatever happened.
Oh.
The paint just doesn't quite look old enough.
Yeah.
Or color match.
Yeah, it's not.
Man, they should have hired a real con artist. Jeez.
Yeah. Should have hired a real painter.
When you say burned slash melted, mostly just from heat, not like acid or.
A bit acid, like on the face region.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is definitely a heat.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You can feel free to share whatever you wish.
I'd point out the hand aspect to the rest of everyone. Actually, Ella probably would have been the one to find that. She probably would have been more
She lets you
in
take the
tune.
credit.
No.
It's the only part of him she could see from her vantage point.
I hope it was fast. Is the only real thing that I'll say about that. But
I do not believe
someone
it
tried.
was quick.
That's why I said I hope, Ella.
But we can tell for certain.
Yeah, yes, I know. I'm well aware.
Is there like any big holes in it or anything, or is it just like all the minor burns?
There's a big hole where the just stone was,
Yeah.
and there's like the mark where he got stabbed when you guys were kids.
Yeah,
but that's been healed because Callio healed it, or with
mended it.
Magic. Yeah, mended it. There is. I'll allow a second investigation check if you want to like roll him over or something. But I don't know.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Ella would do it with her tiny hands, delicately move him over, kind of modestly look under any clothing.
With the 17, then I will say that if you lift some clothing, there is in where his heart would be. From the back, there is a stab mark, but if you were, it's like wide enough to put a finger in, and if you put your finger in, it isn't deep enough that it would have hit anything vital. This was to cause pain, you would say, and you notice more as you lift articles of clothing that the backside of him was. He was face up and covered with stuff for a reason, so you guys wouldn't have to see this stuff.
Ella looks to Tobias. He was definitely tortured.
Yeah, that's well, that's not good. If it has anything to do with a missing stone.
She puts him back into like a dignified manner. And
You hear the clicking of a of a wooden puppet moving as you move him.
Has anyone been noticing any people following? Anyone, like, has anyone been afraid of someone coming after them? This is, I mean, I know Nyle has been researching the last few years about what happened, but I haven't noticed anything following us.
I mean, I've been followed lots of times. Has never been something too untoward regarding my hand, though.
It's mostly.
Could you roll a history or insight check?
Oh, let's find out if I just lied.
You didn't necessarily lie, but had not thought of it this way.
Well, that is a 10 total insight.
Still haven't thought of it that way.
Never in all my years.
What about you, Roman? Do you think someone might have been following you?
I think I get followed on a regular basis. So
You do.
and I've also looked into the stone
You
and
have.
found diddly. So
Yep.
probably not.
When I returned back to back home and brought up what happened in the basement with my parents, I assume we probably went to the elders and talked to
Yep.
them. Did they have any insight towards the stone as well?
All like
Like
old
legends, maybe? Yeah.
wives' tales. Like the only one that like often gets like you've heard before, and definitely were told in the moment, is that the king in the Black Castle used the stones like that, and
The stuff that
just
everyone
set a
kind of
scar
knows.
across the world, type of thing.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
something, yeah, like you say, everyone knows this. You actually, you too, because you have the elders and you're kind of based around protecting dreamers. Your elders, they talk about a older. So when they were kids, their elders, they used to tell a story of one of their guardians that was destined to find a dreamer who suddenly just fell over dead. Like basically had a heart attack in the middle of the street. Was very young, like 17. And Maddy, you would remember that there were dreamers that you were told that there's been a dreamer they know was harvested, and that another dreamer had been awoken that they never found. And those kind of correlate to when he suddenly died, is roughly when Osirion was or Thane, I believe, sort of thought that other dreamer was harvested.
Huh.
But nothing really else about the stones.
Mm-hmm.
Ella kind of turns around to look at everyone and then like looks up to Cruz. How much do you know of this matter?
Basically, whatever you've listened to in the podcast, Nyle, you would know. Or sorry, Markus, you would know, as if Nyle had told you from his perspective.
Okay.
You gotta still answer the question, though.
Oh, sorry. What was the question?
How
Ella,
familiar are you with the situation?
How much do you know about all of this?
What? Quite a bit. So yeah. Sorry, I don't really pay attention too much. Kind of just doze off.
What did Nyle tell you about us?
Hey, you guys are some good people that I could trust too. And yeah.
Ella kind of looks to the others. she's like, do you buy this? Like, she doesn't say it, but like, you could tell she's not on the same page. She's like,
He was mentioned in like one letter. You do know that.
Do you all think we should be discussing this in front of him?
I don't see why not, to be honest.
Yeah, we spent the last couple of days with him. He's a pretty decent guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Good friend of Nyle.
We talked about insert what we talked about here.
Nyle.
You just made any. You could have said anything.
Yeah, I did say anything. I said everything.
Ella nods. She does consider your guys' opinions to be valuable, so. Well, then we should all be very careful. If we're all gathered here, someone may take the opportunity to murder all of us.
And with that, we'll end the episode. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tendra. See you next time.
Hello one, hello all. It's Quinton Foote here, Dungeon Master to a very unique live-action fantasy adventure podcast known as The Fables of Latour. Join us every Monday as we explore a completely original world filled with new races, monsters, and magics, all based around the fantasy novel series, The Mighty Vendavar. Since we specialize in long-format storytelling and our entire cast are professional actors and artists, you can excitedly tune in weekly to experience the next chapter of our harrowing saga. We can't wait to meet you in the wilds of Latour.
Don't forget to rate and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Thank you.